And now it's time for How We Felt About. Eric and I are going to do 2 movies today, 2 brand new movies, and nothing else. We're just doing a couple of new movies today. We watched Murder on the Orient Express, which we're going to do second, because a lot of people, I'm sure, are excited to hear us talk a little bit about Justice League. So we're going to front load with Justice League, and then we're going to talk probably not as in-depth and as long about Murder on the Orient Express, especially because that movie I don't want to talk spoilers at all with, because I just kind of want to encourage people to go see it, because
I looked into some stuff in that movie, and like everything I saw was like, everyone knows the super famous twist ending of Murder on the Orient Express. We're just uncultured swine.
Yeah, that's
We're just uncultured swine.
No, I'm glad we were, because I was glad to get it. That well, fine. You know what? I don't mind feeling like an idiot with that. It was a wonderful viewing experience for that. Yeah, okay. I'll just give it to you up front. We'll talk about that later. I bet you're wondering how I'm gonna flip my sign. Well, you still don't know about Eric, but I'm gonna hand it to him this way, and like take no stock whatsoever in the way he picks up the sign at all. Take no stock in that. Anyway, so let's go ahead and talk now about Justice League a little bit. We're gonna do things a little bit differently today.
The big JL.
And it could be JLA because they're all American, or at least in America.
Most
right
of them
now
are not American. At least half of them
are in
are
America.
Not. Okay.
No, you're right. That's why I changed those. So, we're going to do things a little bit differently today. We're going to do the non-spoiler spoiler thing with this, and it's just in case there's anybody that hasn't gone to it or are still on the fence about whether or not they want to go to it, and like I get that with this. There are going to be folks, and I might have been one of them if I wasn't, reviewing things on a YouTube channel that are like,
you didn't have the career you have.
I don't want to right. I don't want to waste my money going to see another one of these probably DC duds, or feels maybe like that. I don't know if I trust Snyder, that kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
So
we'll do based on box office. It seems like most of the country is having that reaction.
Feels that way. Yeah. Well, I told him so. So anyway, we're gonna do a few minutes of non-spoiler and give you our broad thoughts on how we felt about this movie. And then, for anybody that is interested, we'll do a few more minutes, 15 or 20, hopefully not as long as we did last time, but, 15 or 20 minutes with some spoiler stuff. This will not be a full-blown in-depth analysis. We will say up front we saw the movie one time, and we have not had a chance to go again. And I don't know yet, I know folks are going to ask, I don't know yet if we're going to have a chance to do a spoiler cast, and because of the way we're doing the Mega Show and the way my schedule is these days, and needing to keep more evenings free, I don't even know how often I can promise spoiler casts anymore. We certainly want to keep getting some of our co-hosts on to do things with us as often as possible, and I want to do more live shows, but the spoiler cast thing, I can't promise it right now, and I don't know how much I'm going to be able to promise it in the future. So, I don't want to not do any spoilers, because otherwise folks won't get to hear what we think about some of those, plot things that they're going to be curious, that you might be curious about. Okay, so, enough preamble, let's get right into it. Eric, basic general thoughts walking out of Justice League and the classic best thing and worst thing, go.
Okay. Basic general thoughts are, this film succeeds at everything it tries to do, because it tries to do almost nothing. This film is cut down so bare bones, and you can almost see the seams of like, oh, this was going to be a really complicated, convoluted film, and we just cut it down to the most bare bones, and because of that, it's an enjoyable, I keep using the word disposable, like, I don't feel like people have to see this movie. It's a TV pilot. It's a 2-hour-long TV pilot for a Justice League
$300 million TV pilot.
That's the biggest thing against it is, I think this movie is enjoyable. I think it's fine. It's not great. It's not, spectacular. It's a real safe film, and it's what DC needed at this point. It's insane that it's one of the most expensive films ever made. It looks good. It doesn't look $300 million good, and some of that's the reshoots.
Can I disagree with that?
Yeah, absolutely. You can disagree with anything I say ever.
I think. Thanks, buddy. I'm feeling what you said. Is it I haven't officially flipped my sign yet. just in case you're watching this with the sound off.
And you have the YouTube subtitles on.
Which will, I'll be saying, like, donkeys and Pinocchio. And, okay, so I think it does in some way look like a $300 million movie. Only because, okay, I think it looks like a movie that needed a lot of money to look as good as it does. I don't know what a $300 million movie looks like, because I don't know why anything would cost that much unless it was, like, 5 hours long or commanded, like, 5 people of the kind of salary that somebody like Iron Man commands. Robert Downey. Yeah.
Yeah, if it was like something like The Expendables, but instead of making it like 20 years past all those guys' prime, you made it immediately when everyone was the biggest they possibly were.
Yeah, I imagine, and I don't know if this is right, but I imagine that $300 million is what happens when you have something like Superman Lives, except it actually gets made. You know what I mean? Where you have all this stuff that happens on the cutting room floor, and they get rid of it, and they make a bunch of something else instead. Like, I think
mean like if they made an entire movie, and then they brought in a different director to reshoot like half of the movie, and then like that. Here's
the thing: we don't know. Like again, let's be careful and not be hyperbolic. I don't know if you reshot half the movie, but Joss Whedon, but It's very clear this is a very, very different movie than it would have been if Snyder had been able to finish it, and if Whedon hadn't come in. But anyway, I don't know if you had more like best thing, worst thing.
Oh yeah.
Sorry.
So my best thing.
I just want to say I think it does look very, very good.
Yes, I'm not saying it doesn't look good. I just, for the story they're telling, for like, okay. But I still have some issues with the way Cyborg looks in certain scenes.
Okay, that's
At $300 million, I should have no issues.
No, you're right.
At $300 million,
he should never be taken out by CG.
The bad guy should not be a video game cutscene.
No, you're right. He looks... Yeah, there are a lot of places where I think this movie looks like if a movie would cost $300 million, maybe I sort of buy it. No, he looks awful. I don't know...
He looks like a PS3 cutscene.
Look, you don't have to go CG just to make a guy look big, okay? We've seen big characters where their face is all still one There's no reason his face needed to be CG. Just put a helmet on it and some prosthetics, okay? Yeah, anyway.
So my best thing, shocking to me, going into the film, I was concerned about a couple of things. I loved Aquaman. I loved Aquaman.
I knew that's what you were going to say.
I was really worried. He seemed like real bro-y in all the trailers. Was just like, yeah! And all of those moments work 100% because he's not like that the entire movie.
And he doesn't seem like a different character when he does it. It's just that's when he lets loose.
Yeah. Also, his goofy yell when he gets thrown both times, it's like that goofy, like, ah!
I don't know why you love that so much.
I think it's hilarious. I hope he does it every time.
Okay.
Yeah. It just hits because it's so high pitched and he's such a gruff, deep voiced guy. I think it's hilarious.
Can I make a prediction? Your best thing and worst thing are both going to be characters.
Yep. So I loved Aquaman. And then so this is. It's like it kind of gets. I was like, oh yeah, like when I started making YouTube videos, I considered Aquaman one of my favorite characters. And then there were like no Aquaman comics for a long period of time. And Aquaman's barely ever been traded. And much like Green Arrow, I'm waiting for good Green Arrow comics again. Like, he's still my favorite DC character, but he's not in the front and center of my mind. And I looked online, DC's trading everything.
Yeah.
All of Aquaman's... Oh, man, I'm so excited for all the Aquaman I'm going to read. But that's neither here nor there.
How did Rebirth make the past better? I don't
know. Right? They're trading the Peter David stuff. They're treating the stuff before Peter David. They're trading that weird area.
You said Atlantis would freeze over.
Hell would freeze over before they traded the Peter David Aquaman stuff because Dan DiDio hates Peter David.
Yep.
And that Supergirl and Young Justice all are getting trades.
Yep.
It's amazing. It's amazing.
We've got to finally review that.
I would love to read the Peter David Supergirl stuff. I've never read it.
Me neither, and you know how much I like Supergirl.
Yeah. So I loved Aquaman. I thought he was great. I cannot wait for the Aquaman movie. I thought the Atlantis stuff looked great.
Yeah.
And it re-energized...
That was one of my favorite things, was what Atlantis looks like.
Yeah.
And Mira looks great.
Mira looks great. It re-energized me and got me excited for Aquaman again, which I haven't been in a very long time. Like, I liked the Rebirth stuff. and I liked what I read of Jeff Johns' New 52 stuff.
Yeah.
But like I don't know, it sparked something in me where I'm like, oh, that's right, I love this character, and like I want to go back and re-experience all that stuff that made me love him.
Can I ask you that question? Is a lot of people are going to look at that like Aquaman and be like, they might think he's fun, they might think he's irritating, I don't know, but but I don't know if they'll think he's Aquaman. Like he's kind of a reinvention, right?
I mean, he's very much based on the Peter David Aquaman.
You think so?
That being said, it's really unfortunate he doesn't have blonde hair, because that's such a major plot point of that character, is that the Atlanteans hate him because no Atlanteans have blonde hair, and they consider it like a curse if you're born with blonde hair.
But I imagine, and I haven't looked at any, I haven't really looked at any responses to this movie yet, but I imagine some people are going to be like, well, he's too much of a bar brawler, you know, that kind of thing. But I just get the sense that's just where
and that is very much where
Peter
David kind of plays.
Is it?
With him. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, Peter David's the guy that gives him the harpoon hand and the beard and the long hair.
Do you think he'll get the harpoon hand?
I would love it.
That would be really cool.
My only criticism of Aquaman is his costume is black and gold, and in this color scheme, look, why isn't it just orange? Like the exact same costume, just orange. Because he's got the green pants.
That's fair. I didn't think about it. I thought it looked really good, but
it looks good. I just wish it was
orange. With everybody else, I thought it looked pretty good.
So my worst thing, is the Flash,
which is what you expected going in.
The Flash is exactly what I expected. There are a couple of good Flash jokes that are delivered terribly. Joss Whedon knows how to write comedy. I don't think a single Flash scene lands for me. Now I went
importantly, Whedon does have his name on the script.
Yeah.
So he did enough to this that he got a script credit, which means it's significant.
So I went in.
You can't tell what all is him and what isn't, but the stuff you're talking about, I imagine probably.
I went in really worried about Flash and Aquaman. Those are the two characters I went worried about. I loved Aquaman. I think Flash is abominable. I will not see a film starring this Flash. I will not go see that film. I cannot take 2 hours of this man.
Wow.
I also the CW show does it better, but I don't understand why we have to take the single most elegant and simple costume and make it so
Oh, I agree with you there, yeah.
It's not just that it was armored, there's lines for no reason. It's like they just put string across the... I thought the Flash was awful. I could not deal with it.
Were they trying to make it look somehow kind of more homemade in that way, where he makes his own suit?
I assumed it was trying to do the New 52 lines.
But but in like a patchwork kind of way.
Yeah, except it doesn't look like it looks like a $1 million costume with string tied on it.
I don't know if I agree with that, but I don't think it's aesthetically pleasing.
It looks
especially
bad.
compared to the rest of the costumes, because I pretty much like all the other costumes.
But I immediately hate the Flash when he goes to his dad, and I think he's just obnoxious. Like his dad's pouring his soul out to him, and he kind of rolls his eyes, and he can't even be bothered to listen to what his father's saying to him. And I hate him, and I hope that DC just gets rid of him and recasts immediately. Like I think he's that bad. It's one of the worst performances I've seen in a superhero movie in a long time. I don't think he works on any level.
Okay, well, I want to move through the non-spoiler stuff a little bit quicker.
Yeah,
and,
sorry.
Actually get to the spoiler section. So I'll just throw out my quick thoughts and best and worst thing. I think, and again, it's hard not to give a lot of the credit of this to Whedon, but I think
I think we can both agree it seems like Joss Whedon saved this film.
Yeah, it does. And I think it was smart to have the exact same standards I did, which was not much. The film itself is content if it makes sense, if any of the characters are likable 75% of the time, or I guess if all the characters... I think it's attempting to make the characters likable 75% of the time with the possible exception of Superman. We'll get to that. And if it's... and if the action looks fun and comic booky, and if it seems like it has a message, but it's not trying to take itself too seriously because it knows that that's what repelled a lot of people in the last movie.
Everyone's not speechifying.
Yeah, exactly. And it
self-importantly speechifying.
It accomplishes all of that. My review of this movie is it's kind of dumb. I liked it. It's not. I can't even use the word good. I don't know if this is a good movie. There's obviously a whole lot of stuff left on the cutting room floor. It's obviously got a really cookie cutter video game kind of bad guy plot. it really waters down the New Gods mythology. A whole lot.
I think we can both agree none of the Superman stuff works.
We'll get there.
Okay.
And I'm not even there yet.
Okay.
And Steppenwolf, because I'm still at the villain stuff. Steppenwolf is such a counterintuitive choice to make your main bad guy for the movie, and I was was hoping to go in and get at least a sense of the wisdom of that, of the conventional way. I didn't. I have no idea why
he's
that
the
choice
most
was
forgettable
made.
villain since the big monster guy from Suicide Squad.
It's Suicide Squad.
Who he looks exactly like, but not on fire. Or no, that guy wasn't on fire. Whatever that guy was.
Best thing is tough. I've got a few different things. I mean, where do I want to go? I almost want to say Wonder Woman, just because I was worried that she was going to be relegated to being just a serviceable kind of action hero, like she sort of was at the end of BVS, and I feel like she is, at least to some degree, the same character she was in her last movie. It informs this, but no, I guess the real best thing is the fact that there was anything in this movie at all that in a couple places kind of moved me. It's not cynical like BVS is. It remembers the cynicism of that, and it attempts to incorporate it and then move away from it, and it succeeds at that to varying degrees. But I liked that by the end of this, all the characters that, for the most part, that they're telling me are heroic are acting heroically. I mean, my standards for a superhero movie are really low, and that's what I'm looking for, but thank God I got that. My worst thing is Superman. Superman is talked about in the story like real Superman. Someone here, probably Joss Whedon, understands Superman. But the movie feels the need to be consistent with what came before, so it makes the actual character as much of a quagmire and as obsessed with just a love interest and nothing else, and not really Superman as the first time, except for a line of dialogue, which I kind of suspect...
A wonderful line of dialogue.
A wonderful line of dialogue, which I kind of expect probably was also a Whedon thing. And I don't want to, give him credit for everything, but a lot of the things that I like, I feel like were things that Snyder likely would not have done, and I don't know that he would have learned his lesson. And then maybe second and almost tied to that is that I don't feel like Batman actually learned anything from BVS. He's less...
He's got so many missiles on his Batmobile.
Well, that's not what I'm even talking about, and we'll get into it in spoiler territory. But he's acting more sober and is he's not drinking anymore. He's but he's
no, he's got cut.
He's acting more he's acting more like he's not a crazy person and seems to have his heart more in the right place. But for better intentions, he makes a lot of the same mistakes he makes in BVS, and then he kind of just ends up being vindicated for it because the script decides to let him not have to pay for things, and he just gets lucky. And we'll talk about why that is here in a little bit. So, weird sign flip, right? Mm-hmm. Weird sign flip, because from just a straight up, if I hold this to the same standards as really good, great superhero movies, no, it's not. It's obviously not a good movie. But this is not about whether or not we think it's a good movie. It's about whether or not we enjoyed it and if we're feeling it. So I am somewhat lukewarm, but feeling it in the sense that I had a good time. I didn't feel like it was wasted. I was glad I went to the movie. Mm-hmm. And I was not really looking forward to it.
I'm also going to go with a real light feeling it.
Yeah, but it is a light feeling it.
No, it's a real light feeling it. It's an enjoyable watch. Yeah. It's not a great movie.
Critically, I can tear it apart, but it's a Saturday morning cartoon.
It is. It's a Saturday morning cartoon. I probably would give a feeling it to the first Fantastic Four movie on first view.
First viewing, yeah.
It's around that. It's around the first Fantastic Four film. It's enjoyable for what it is. It's not great. It's not. But I also think, as I said, it didn't try to do as much as it could have tried. It succeeded in everything it tried to do.
No, and it was smart to not be too overly ambitious,
yep.
And it's not ambitious at all. In some ways, it is, yeah. but overall, and we can go ahead and get into spoilers now. But I feel like this was officially spoiler time now, guys. I feel like this was a pretty impressive salvage job, and I just reviewed on Rewind the 2014 Ninja Turtles movie. This is that kind of a salvage job. It's, oh no, people aren't liking the approach we're taking, and we've got to course correct like crazy, and the difference is they're already in the middle of the production when they have to start doing that. Ninja Turtles scrapped everything. And interestingly, it ends up feeling a little smarter and a little bit more imaginative in how it does it than that movie was. So I'm going to say this is better than 2014 Ninja Turtles, but it's that kind of a salvage job.
Yeah.
And it makes more sense than that movie.
Yes.
Overall, for the most part, I don't think there's a whole lot of like plot holes here, but there's not a lot of story here.
There's a lot of plot convenience and logic leaps. But those are not the same thing as plot holes. Characters do really dumb things, and Aquaman can appear anywhere where there's water.
Yes.
Without knowing, like, he just shows up. We need him now more than ever.
For instance, I'm not like, well, wait a minute, how do the boxes work, and why in the world are you doing what you're doing? And it's not the same thing as like I had with Fichtner in 2014 Ninja Turtles, that kind of thing.
He never threatens to drain the blood out of these characters, even if it kills them.
So a little bit of spoiler stuff. The first thing I really want to bring up, let's do some criticism. Is I don't like that Batman has almost the exact same line he has in BVS about why he feels the need to try to resurrect Superman. If there's even a chance, he does that again. Have you learned nothing?
I also, jumping off of that, I don't like his entire motivation for...
Now again, his heart's more in the right place. It's a different situation, and yeah, like it's supposed to be more complex. It comes from a guilt place and that kind of thing. But I mean, like, it's... A, it does seem way too risky, and B, here's an idea. Why don't you see if you can solve the problem first and then use that as a last resort, right?
One of the biggest hurdles this film has is BVS. So, like, when Wonder Woman has to tell Batman, you didn't kill Superman, I'm like, Superman killed Superman because he was an idiot and didn't just give you this kryptonite spear.
Right, yeah.
But... it's also where, like...
I mean, he can still blame himself to a degree, because if only they had worked together in the first place, they could have stopped the whole Doomsday thing from happening in the first place. But yes, Superman was an idiot.
But, so...
And real quick, we should mention that, this is important, that on that note, it is damage controlling to BVS to the point of almost making fun of BVS, right? That I don't know if you caught it, but I feel like there's some intended irony toward the end, when Batman says he rectified a mistake when they bring back Superman.
I didn't pick up on that possibility, or that...
Yes, it was a mistake. They shouldn't have killed Superman in that movie. Yes, that was a mistake.
But I really don't like the Batman's like, the world's gotten so cynical without him, the world needs him. I saw BVS, I saw what the world looked like with him. It's not needed. It's actually better now, because we were shooting with lights and color. So, like, the world's actually a better place than it was.
People didn't trust him. It wasn't like... He wasn't a nuclear deterrent. He didn't stop crime from happening because people were, like, doing the right thing or trusted him or saw a beacon. It wasn't that... Now, if we just talked about it like that and ignored BVS...
And then when he came back, he was that character. But also, the only reason we bring him back is because we need him to punch things.
He's a plot
device. We don't need him because the world is missing a symbol. We just need him because... the five of us aren't strong enough to stop Steppenwolf.
We bring him back for the same reason that we bring Kirk out of the Nexus in Generation, just to punch somebody.
Yep. And that's a mistake.
Yeah. And again, it's so surreal because they talk about him like he's real Superman.
Oh, some of the way they talk about him is great.
It sounds like you're talking about Superman, and he sounds like he was a symbol, and that he set the right example. And if the guy they're talking about had died, and we had the world without Superman thing, which I feel like you could make a whole movie about.
I agree.
I would really buy that the world is much more in peril, and that Batman. Because what if Batman brought him back because Batman's too cynical and he doesn't know how to be Superman? And like what if that was the reason he brought him back?
I just know how to make people scared. I don't know how to make them believe.
And Wonder Woman's not willing to do to be because here's the other thing. Especially if Superman is just brought back to be a plot device, he feels really superfluous. He already kind of does, because you already have Superman in this universe. Her name is Wonder Woman.
Yeah. But she, I mean, we're doing something
But you
with
still
that.
could have had a real Superman. I mean,
Yeah,
I'm not saying
yeah.
that we shouldn't have, but I almost wish we left him dead.
I do too.
And just brought him back some other way later on.
Yeah, it may be in Man of Steel 2 that
And
we might never
Wasn't
get.
that all way too easy?
So way too easy.
Just like how we bring him back, and then like we have one token big fight scene because of course we want to see characters fight, and that seemed like a real Snyder kind of move.
Well, and they made this big deal out of like, so they're gonna drop the box, the Flash has to run, and like he's like, the second the box hits the water, you have to electrify it or whatever.
Yeah.
Okay, so if he missed, could they do it again?
Yeah, I don't know.
Why? Why just this specific second?
Just to make it feel like there's a ticking time bomb, or
Yeah.
there's a sense of immediacy.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's cheap.
Yeah,
Sure.
it's yeah.
But I didn't need Do You Bleed. I didn't need Superman like holding Batman by his face.
I'm
and-
fine with Superman waking up kind of like half crazy like Lazarus Pit.
Yeah,
What's
sure.
not okay is how they resolve it.
Yeah,
Which
yeah,
is
yeah.
the only thing Superman
No, you're
cares
right.
about in this
All of that
world.
could have worked if we resolved it the right way. You're right.
The only thing that Superman cares about in this world, this is one of my big complaints with BVS, is that he is in a insanely toxic relationship with Lois Lane.
Yeah.
They bring out the big guns, and it's Lois Lane, and he sees her, and it's like the Hulk with Betty. He's just fine.
That's a great way of putting it, yeah. And the problem is, what if she ever dies? What if something ever happens to her? I mean, like, she's basically your deterrent to make sure that Superman doesn't run off half-cocked. The only reason he seems to care about saving the world is her. And so when you get that cool, that fun, super admittedly cheesy line, but I loved it.
Because it's Superman.
Because it's Superman when he says, like he could have gotten away with this in the animated series, right?
Mm-hmm.
Where I love truth and I'm a big fan of justice. That's not the same guy who seems to just be, helping out to save his girlfriend.
And he put everything into that line. Like, he sold that line 100. That's
Because
the Superman
Cavill
he wants to
wants
play.
to be Superman, and he's talked. I mean, you've heard him in interviews.
Yeah.
He's crushed that he hasn't gotten to play real Superman.
Yeah. Yeah.
He gets it.
Yeah, he absolutely does.
And he gets that character, and he was probably tickled pink to work with Whedon, I would imagine.
Yeah.
I don't know. I will say, the suit finally looks really good.
Because they brightened it up.
Yeah.
It's a little bummer that they still haven't had the trunks. Like, this felt like the time to do that.
Yeah.
But I was thinking about this the other day with the suit. So you remember
And the giant cape and stuff, like, it looks magnificent, I think. Like,
you know how we said we were speculating that most of the Superman stuff was reshot to simplify it and truncate it down?
well, it had to have been, wasn't he supposed to have the long hair?
And the black suit. We know that he shot with the black suit.
And wasn't there something about him having, like, a different hairstyle or something where they had to, like, in post add something or take something away?
So this is the big tell that I'd forgotten about, but I have heard from other people. If you look for it, you can tell every single scene that's reshot with him. He has a mustache that they have digitally removed.
That's what it is. That's what it was.
And apparently, if you're looking for it, you can see it. You can see it
that's
every
rough.
time.
It's sort of like the Joker in '66.
Yeah. Well, no. Well, yeah. Except now that's weird digital uncanny valley right here.
As opposed to makeup.
Yeah.
Cesar Romero.
I never noticed it when I was a kid, but then
I didn't either, but once somebody mentioned it to me, I could see it all the time.
yeah, it's like that purple splotch in '89 on the Joker's neck.
Right.
But yeah, Superman's like. It's not just that he's bad. Like, everything around that is bad. Like, it's just
Everything around him.
It's characters acting like idiots. It feels like a completely pointless thing for this movie. Like,
It's there just because it's obligatory to get Superman back in there, and it seems like they either don't have time to rewrite enough of it, or they're afraid that if it doesn't match enough, it just takes you out too much.
mm-hmm.
Because we don't reinvent any characters.
No.
I mean, the changes we make to Batman, we play as organic changes in his character after what he went through in BVS.
Mhm.
You can't do that with Superman. He's been dead.
Yep.
So, like, I sympathize, but
I would act like a completely different person.
I would have erred on the side of retconning.
Yep.
Because it's so bad.
Because this is the way because we talked about him like this in Suicide Squad too. Like, let's just pretend that he was the guy we keep talking about.
Yeah, especially because we've had 2 whole movies where we've done that now. I wanted to like that really strange choice for the teaser at the beginning, the cold open, with the phone and the kids shooting Superman, and the whole like have you ever fought a hippo? That was all really fun, and he kind of felt like Superman in that scene. And then, why do you do this? Cut. Oh no!
Because my mind
The
goes
answer
Lois Lane. No, what's your favorite thing about Earth?
And then it turns out, is that what it was?
Yeah,
I couldn't remember what it was.
what's your favorite thing about it?
And then, when we bring him back, we're consistent about it. That's the answer. I don't know how to read the movie other than what he said was, well, I have a girlfriend.
Yeah.
So that makes me angry.
I hate everything we do with New Gods mythology. It's so genericified. It's so it's real bad. It's really bad. And I'm convinced that the only time we ever mention the New Gods and Darkseid is a reshoot scene, because we get a whole backstory where it does not seem like any of that exists. But to talk about a positive, Cyborg's amazing.
I like him, and I don't like Cyborg usually, especially as a... Well, I don't want to say this, but I have not hardly done anything with Teen Titans. So people who love him there, I get it, I just haven't...
I have a fundamental issue with him being a founding member of the Justice League.
But I've really only experienced him, for the most part, as a founding member of the Justice League. He always feels like a sore thumb, or he sticks out like a sore thumb. He's not the Greek god, larger-than-life kind of character like they are. They make a case for it here.
And as someone who has read quite a bit of Teen Titans, and watched the animated series as a kid and everything, he's off the page. They could not have gotten a better actor to portray Cyborg.
But isn't he usually like a little bit more fun and silly? I was really impressed that he was this serious, and I didn't find him whiny.
Not so much in the comics.
Oh, cool.
He is very much in the cartoon, and I love that he says "booyah" because that's his big line in the cartoon.
Well, and I was expecting it. I figured they would go there, but I was surprised not to think that it was like too out of nowhere or anything, because he's really stoic through a lot of the movie, and then he goes there. But that seems like his real personality coming out, and that what we've been seeing the whole movie is
him kind of damaged.
Yeah, and fighting the robotics.
Mm-hmm.
I like the idea. Maybe this is too easy for some people, but I kind of like the idea of it being of what happened to him being linked to the alien stuff.
Mm.
A part of me almost wishes that it was Kryptonian. I don't know.
Yeah,
I had that thought.
My issue with it is that it's a little really close to the Blue Beetle, where he has this alien suit that kind of sometimes is in control, and the thing where his arm, he's I can't control this, my arm's doing that. That's a Blue Beetle scene.
Sure.
That's Jaime Blue Beetle.
Yeah, but I thought it made sense.
Yeah, no, it does make sense. But it does feel like we're kind of borrowing from another character.
I felt like there was a little bit of pathos there. Where
it totally played in the scene.
I'm afraid I'm part of
this. I wasn't thinking about while I was watching. It was afterwards where I was like, oh yeah, he was kind of... There's a little bit of Blue Beetle mixed in there.
But I don't know, that speech he has where he's I'm afraid I'm part of the alien threat, and I don't know, that kind of got me. I like that. I like that.
And I found out this is apparently, I think, his first film role. He's a stage actor.
He's excellent.
He's wonderful. No, I loved.
He brings a lot, and I was surprised by how much screen time he got.
Yeah. And that it really worked.
They kind of give everybody enough time to come alive.
Yeah, I wasn't bothered by anybody's amount of screen time because of the Flash, but I didn't like him.
Yeah.
But everybody got as much screen time as you would expect them to get.
So
nobody felt short shrift for screen time.
Real quick, I'd like to weigh in on the Flash.
Sure, yeah, because you liked him considerably more than I did.
Yeah, I mean,
which is to say it all.
I didn't love some of his performance, and I get your complaints about him. You also were really put off by him in the trailers, and I didn't have that.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I'm still not sure about the gag, but this is not him. This is just the gag. I'm still not sure about a couple of the gags, everybody leaves the roof, but he didn't notice. He experiences things in bullet time. It seems like almost all the time. He has lines that on the page I think work, and that even I think the delivery that he gives works. And there were Eric and I are just disagreeing on this. There were places that I laughed and Eric did not at him in the theater. I was with him a lot more than Eric was. I like his whole and I think I liked it more because it repeated. I liked the joke about Pet Sematary. I thought that was funny. There's an idea that I like, but it's kind of fundamentally flawed, which is he has social awkwardness and doesn't understand basic social norms because he moves at a different rate than other people. And we've done this before with the Flash, where everybody's like too slow for him, but it's almost with him, it's like he can't get a rhythm. It's not just he's impatient, it's that he can't get in the rhythm of conversation. I like that idea a lot. The problem is they play it almost like it's a physical condition he's always had, but he got struck by lightning and not that long ago. So if you did a Flash where he's always been this way, or he's been this way for a considerably much longer amount of time. I think I like that more.
Well, and there was that real bad setup.
But it's kind of a cool idea. I've not seen that exactly done before, I don't think, with The Flash.
I don't know what's cut out of this movie with The Flash.
Right.
But we have that scene at the beginning with his dad, and at the end of the movie, he comes back to his dad. He's like, look, I got a job. I was like, when did that happen? What? Why are we even showing this scene? Like, other than the fact that we set up earlier that we had to pay this off, he never talks about it. He's never like, I think I might like to work at the police. Like, hey, Bruce, could you put a phone call for me to the police? There's no setup at all to this. And people clapped in our theater. There was a lot of clapping in our theater. A lot of clapping in our theater.
Yeah. That was for people were having a good time.
No, that's fine. But that one felt really weird that people were clapping.
I think it's important. That was strange. I think it's important to remember though that we're going to like early to late night shows like the Thursday before the movie technically comes out. So it's like people kind of treat it like they're going to an early screening even though it's not really an early screening. And I don't know, there was a lot of like applause and stuff with Thor too. Like,
yeah. I'm not complaining. That one felt really weird. I mean, there was a couple of them that felt really weird, but that one really stopped me where I'm like, okay, so he got his job, but like we didn't get there. It's just, that's what he does, yeah! Like, I don't know, that's felt weird.
There's a thing, I've been thinking about this a little bit, there's a thing I really want to like, but ultimately, again, it's really weird and flawed, because basically what you're saying is, bear with me, let me set this up. Basically what you're saying with something we did in BVS is that you had to kill Superman so that the Justice League could come together in the first place. So, I like the idea with the really bizarre bit in BVS where Flash comes back and tells Batman that Superman is going to become a despot.
Oh yeah! What?
Can we talk about this?
I totally forgot about that!
So, here's what I like about it now. And also here's what ends up being really weird about it. The threat that was there while Superman was a despot we still have to deal with. So, like, there are parademons all over that because this all still happens. Now, I don't know if in that other version, Superman would have somehow rather, like, linked up with,
The Flash talks about Lois. He's like, you have to keep Lois alive. Lois can't die.
Yeah.
This is not the nightmare future with Desert Batman because Lois is alive.
Yeah, that's it. I mean, they did it on purpose. That's unfortunate.
That's really unfortunate.
It's not just, we have to teach Superman that we have to tell Superman, like, what's going to happen if he doesn't, like, get his act together and figure things out because he's just thinking about things in too extreme of a way. No, it's very simply, we have to keep Lois alive or we have to murder him, which is what we do. So we prevent that, like, this doesn't mean anything. It's not about anything. We murder Superman in order for the future to work out better, and then when we bring him back, there's still a possibility he could become an evil despot person if we killed Lois. That's a problem, okay? But I do like that we foreshadowed a threat, and then that's like it wasn't too long from now that it shows up. Like, I kind of like that.
Well, yeah, but we knew that was the immediate next thing we were doing.
I know, but just now that I've seen it,
yeah,
it's kind of, there's something kind of fun about it, I guess.
But I wish it felt more like other than the parademons, this doesn't feel like that scenario at all. Like, I really wish this felt like...
Well, I want to know where Steppenwolf is in that other future.
Yeah.
I want to know if Superman and Steppenwolf are, like, in league or something.
Yeah.
Because I don't know what that is. Okay, so I'm praising this, and it's not really... Maybe it's not fair to praise. There's something about that I kind of like seeing pay off, I guess.
Okay.
I don't know.
Here's what I'm saying.
It's a fun comic book kind of thing we've never seen before. I don't know.
Here's what I'm going to say about this movie. Oh,
and also, super fun comic book Batman stuff right off the page at the beginning of the movie.
Yeah.
And, I mean, the parademon came out of nowhere. That was crazy. It was just crazy. But
it's also right off the page from
all that
Justice
Arkham
League
stuff
Origin.
is so much fun, and, yeah.
Because that's how Justice League Origin opens, too, or something. It's an early scene. Is Batman flying around fighting the parademon. But the, like, bottom line, I think, on this movie, I kind of wish we'd said this before. I'd said this in the pre-spoilers, but if you listen to us talk this long, bottom line is...
Thanks.
I think this is an enjoyable film. This is a film we can pick apart completely.
Oh, yeah, sure.
It's a film that you can riff completely.
Rip it apart all day long. But
it's got a lot of problems. We're not saying it doesn't.
But I was excited. I liked people.
Yeah.
Like,
it was fun. It was enjoyable.
The thematic stuff is real surface and real obvious.
Yeah.
You got like
hope, heroes,
unity in a like friendship and care about each other and work as a team way versus unity in a might makes right and make everyone oppress people and make them do what you want kind of way.
It's Star Trek Beyond.
They keep throwing unity. I needed Steppenwolf to have 1/4 of his dialogue because all he says, pretty much what he says through the whole movie. I kept zoning out
when he started talking.
Most of what he's saying through the whole movie is whoever has the power makes the rules in like as many different variations as they could write that line.
Okay, so I have two major things I want to talk about before we get off this.
Yeah, sure.
Major for me, not major for anybody else, maybe. So this movie did give me an experience that I have not had since seeing Avengers in theaters. So in the middle of the credits of Avengers, you get that.
But you don't mean in the idea that like it was a big deal to get these characters together or anything.
No, not like that. We see Thanos, and that's a huge deal. This actually has something where I had like a genuine reaction to. In the post-credit scene. Not the middle one, that one's garbage. The post-credit scene...
Wait, what was the middle one again?
The race.
Remind me? Oh, we didn't... And...
Where Flash says he wants to prove he's faster than Superman.
It's done better in a commercial for the CW shows.
Yeah, where he wants to prove he's faster than Superman, but it's not a macho measuring thing.
It's like, no,
that's all it is.
Yeah.
So we get Deathstroke, and that's cool or whatever. But then he takes his helmet off.
It was kind of surprised though. We weren't expecting that. I mean,
I wasn't expecting Deathstroke. Cool. But
Lex is now fine and not crazy. And,
yeah, he's just...
Well, he's not any crazier than he was before.
We kept making ding, 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 ding jokes.
Because, well, we got to the end of the movie, and I looked at Eric and said, where's Lex? I know he was cast. I mean, I know he was supposed to be in this movie. Where is he? And is he just going to say ding, 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 ding?
Because we go to the prison. We cut to the prison.
And I
there's like a 5-minute after credits
stop doing that, so I just look at Eric like, ding, ding, ding. And then both of us were like, when he comes back, can we not at least have the soundtrack? Bomb, bomb, oh. After you finish.
Yeah.
Don't let me forget to talk about Elfman.
Yes.
Holy crap.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. So we get Deathstroke, and I saw the early footage from last year. I guess you didn't.
I did not.
About? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So we got test footage.
Or if I did, I forgot all
because
about it.
he was supposed to be.
Watch there be a video somewhere where I talk about it. I do not remember.
He was supposed to be in Affleck's Batman, and so we got test footage while they were shooting this movie. And so I knew what the costume looked like. He looks fine. He looks good. It's again more armored than I'd like. I wish it was a little bit more plate mail or whatever. But then he takes off his mask.
He takes it off.
And what I expected was that actor. It's not. It is straight off the page.
It is, but you can't tell.
It is straight off the page. White, spiked up hair, white goatee, perfect. I was so blown away by how off the page he was. Like, because I didn't expect it. Like,
especially after Deadshot.
Yeah, I really expected him yeah, exactly.
And I don't mean because he's played by an actor of different ethnicity necessarily. I mean
he's not,
that the look's totally different.
He looks totally different. Like that has a real distinct like pencil.
And I like that look. I don't have a problem with it.
Yeah,
I'm just saying that like, but you expect reinvention.
Yeah,
and it was really interesting.
I kind of expect him to just be that actor, maybe that actor with like a tattoo over his eye or something. But, like he takes off and he is
because they love their tattoos.
They love their tattoos. He's just off the page Slade Wilson, and I kind of lost it. Like I was like, oh man, I didn't know they were gonna do that. That's awesome.
The guy next to you lost it just because he was there.
Yeah, just because he was there. But like they're talking about Deathstroke movie. I don't need that. I don't want that. But
it was fun just to see him.
Am I kind of excited to? I was like, oh, they just him. That's so exciting. So excited for that. I had a second thing. I don't remember what it was. So you talk about the soundtrack until I remember.
I look at Eric about 2 minutes in the movie. I keep making it sound like we just talked through the whole movie. There's a couple times I whispered something. Maybe I didn't even say this. Maybe this is in my own brain. Either to you or in my head, I made a joke where I was like, "Oh, what they get Danny Elfman?" And then they got Danny Elfman, and it was the most surreal experience probably I've had with the soundtrack, at least in a long time, because Elfman just brings back the '89 score and then a little bit of the Superman score, and then it seems a little bit subtle at first, and then I'm like, no, he's just... And there's a lot of stuff that just sounds like Elfman, but then he's doing, where you're like, okay, there's a little bit of Nightmare here, and there's a little bit of Batman Returns here, and et cetera, et cetera.
It's all that circus music thing he does.
Right, and then you get to the end, and then he just keeps, whenever Batman shows up, sneaking in the '89 theme. And I mean, it's note for note. It's da-na-na-na-na. It's just in this movie of all things. And then...
And when you get to the Batmobile, it's the Batmobile music?
Yeah, he did that too. Yep.
Yep.
And then you get to the end of the credits, and that score and the John Williams Superman score are both credited, and I knew they were in there, but they were in there enough that they felt the need to put them, and especially because Danny Elfman, it was his own score, and they still felt the need to put it in there. And I'm sure that's some kind of rights licensing thing, even though it's Warner Brothers, that you got to credit the whatever. But I don't even know how I feel about it. It was just really surreal,
really weird.
right?
It was really weird.
Because I mean, think about it. A lot of the problem with these from the get-go was lack of new blood. So you have Goyer write Man of Steel after the Batman movies. After the Nolan movies. You have Hans Zimmer come in and do score again, and then after BVS, he's like never again. And then you go all the way back to Elfman, and you take it in this bizarre full circle place where you had this franchise that started off as looking at like it could have been in the Nolanverse in the first place with Man of Steel, and then you get all the way to a thing that looks like, honestly, one of the most comic booky things ever. And I have to mention, because we didn't really talk about this, I loved the visual style a lot with BVS, and we finally have a movie that kind of matches it. And so that's one of the things, tonally. And so that's one of the things where it's difficult for me not to enjoy this, at least on some level, because it doesn't take itself too seriously. And finally, that style I can enjoy without it being like pretentious and acting like it's the most important thing in the world. So that's really exciting. But that was just really strange. Going all the way back to, and then hearing him write around Hans Zimmer and weirdly his score is not bombastic enough in some places. Some places
real.
It sounds kind of generic.
It's really muted too.
And
like when you get that Batman stuff, it's not like in '89. Like it's almost.
It should have been bigger.
Yeah.
And like if you're gonna do it, just go all the way.
It's almost like they were embarrassed they were using that music, so they just like brought it down. Like hopefully no one will know.
Did they get him at the last minute? Did they have him score it like 3 days before the movie came out?
Yeah.
And why wouldn't you? Like go all the way with the Wonder Woman theme. I'm to the place now. That
was super muted.
It was too muted. They earned it in the Wonder Woman movie. You used to laugh at it. You don't laugh at it so much now. Like it kind of works now. And it's Elfman. He's known for bombast. Just do it.
I do remember what my last thing is.
Go ahead.
Okay, so
that was my last thing.
One of the funniest things in BVS is just the weird non sequitur stuff, where like scenes like just no continuity between scenes.
Yes.
This is better, but there's a couple where it's just weird.
Yeah.
So
there are some odd exchanges.
The two big ones.
Are we talking about exchanges?
Well, I'm talking about exchanges, but also just weird like continuity scene stuff. The two big ones stick out in my mind is we open with Batman going through the city fighting a parademon, looking like Batman. Cut to Batman getting Aquaman full beard. Cut to...
Well, I don't even have time to grow that!
Cut to next scene, shaving beard.
What did I miss?
Here's what I'm convinced.
Something?
Here's what I think.
Because I had the same thought.
That's how that movie opens initially. Originally in the Snyder version of this movie, it opens with him going to Aquaman. We don't know how long he's been looking. He's got a beard.
But he hasn't been putting on the batsuit for a while.
But the way it plays in this movie is he grew a beard in about 2 days and then shaves it off, which can only lead me to believe that he knew Aquaman had a beard, and he wanted Aquaman to think he was like one of him,
right?
And like related, so he grew a beard. So
right,
Aquaman
he would sympathize more with a bearded
they both
man.
have beards. See how this makes complete sense. The other big one that sticks out to me.
Wait, so you're no, that doesn't work. I was going to say so it's a fake beard, but then he
he shaves. He shaves. No, he commits.
So wait. When Flash asks him what his superpower is, he shouldn't say I'm rich. He should say I can grow beards really fat.
So the other one sticks out to me is in a single scene in the Batcave. Remember, we are in the Batcave.
I didn't need that flashlight about the Batcave.
No,
I didn't love that.
I mean, I'm gonna agree with everything you say negative about the Flash. He's the worst. Should be drummed out of superhero.
You notice my worst thing was not the Flash. It was still a character. You can't say the Flash is worse than what they do with Superman. Like,
I don't want to leave the theater like I do every single time. Like the Flash speaking makes me want to just get a cement block and just do this. Like, I get it. You're being funny. You think this is comedy?
No, it's not that bad.
That's how it felt.
It's not that bad.
I'm not saying it's that.
I don't get it though. Like,
I don't know. It just like nails on chalkboard. Like his every expression is just like so.
You also made the mistake of listening to the actor talk in an interview and you don't like the actor.
That's true. But I hated him in the trailers.
Don't throw your voice out. We got more show to do.
But I hate him in the trailers.
Yeah, I know.
Before I saw anything about the actor, I didn't know the actor.
Sure, and then you decided you hated him and you didn't give him a chance at all.
I mean, he just nails on chalkboard.
I don't think he's good or anything, but he doesn't make me want to scream.
But no. So Wonder Woman, Batman having a conversation in Batcave. Then Wonder Woman goes. No. Then Bruce goes to another room, and Wonder Woman follows him, and now has a cape, a majestic, beautiful cape.
Yeah, it's.
Where did that come from? They're in Batman's Batcave.
And why doesn't she have it all the time?
Because it looks awesome.
It's amazing.
Yeah, it looks awesome.
Eric, I love her so much.
She's great. She's wonderful.
I just want to throw that out there.
Can't wait for Wonder Woman 2.
Love her so much.
Cannot wait for Wonder Woman 2. I'm excited for Aquaman, which is more than I can say before I went to this movie.
I am too, and I'm excited about them just making movies based on some of these characters. I mean, I could do a Justice League 2. I think you could really improve on this material. I think this is all salvageable. I mean, there's stuff you kind of want to just forget from before, which is rough. But like, I think it's kind of salvageable. If I don't want to talk about this too much, but Warner's has been saying that they're going to get away from the continuity stuff. We've talked about that. And I think they're smart to do that. But at the same time, if they built on this, I think there's stuff to build on.
Yeah, I agree. This is not a train wreck. It's real safe. It feels like.
And I never thought I would say this.
Like kind of soft rebooting.
I would watch a Cyborg movie.
I would too. I kind of want him to like form the Teen Titans and like that be his movie. Is like he
that's
forms
fair.
Teen Titans.
But I could also kind of maybe see a solo. I could sort of see what you would do with that.
But no, I liked him. I would watch a Cyborg movie.
Yeah. Yeah, you're not gonna refuse to go.
Yeah, I'm not gonna refuse to go to a Cyborg movie, especially with this actor. He's great. So yeah.
And I love I forget his name. I love the actor that plays his dad. I think he's perfectly cast.
Oh yeah, Miles Dyson. His name's not Miles Dyson, but that's all I remember him as.
He's perfectly cast. He's also in Eureka. He's great in that. I don't know if you ever saw that show, but
I did not. But I think you've told me that he's in that show.
He's in that show.
Isn't Jeffrey Combs in that show?
No, it's I don't think so. No, it's Matt Frewer. Matt Frewer. Doing an Australian accent.
Oh, remind me to tell you about Matt Frewer later.
I think. Okay, I will. I'm gonna write it down because we have more show to do. Matt Frewer. Okay, briefly, let's do a quick section here on how we felt about Murder on the Orient Express. Go ahead.
I think it's wonderful. It's one of my favorite movies I saw this year.
Same here.
You and I are both already. I'm not gonna say like we're huge fans. Like I haven't seen everything the man's done, but like you and I are both already fans of Kenneth Branagh.
Yeah. And I'm just on board.
Yeah.
If Kenneth Branagh's making something.
Yeah, absolutely.
And not that I go and see everything he makes, but like
And Kenneth Branagh's in such an interesting point of his career. I love
this. Feels like the role he was born to play.
Yeah, absolutely. Which is weird because he shows Shakespeare guy.
This is, I mean, this is like watching him do Hamlet again. Like how hard he's working. Would you go that far?
Yeah,
I mean, he's working that hard.
Yeah, if any of you have never seen it, definitive Hamlet.
Yep,
it's my favorite. It is the version of Hamlet. So you need a weekend to watch it. Yeah, but it is the definitive film version of Hamlet. But
I agree. Not everybody agrees with that. I think so too.
Yeah. No, this film's wonderful. Every actor is great. This feels like the kind of This feels like the kind of thing that actors get into acting to do. Everyone just kind of
everybody in the world is going to want to be in one.
Yeah, and everybody.
If it does well enough that they can make sequels, it seems like the thing people will come out of the woodwork to come back and do.
We were talking about how great it would be if every like 2-3 years they put out one of these Poirot movies and just had like a who's who of Hollywood for all of the characters in it. Like that would be so cool.
If you're uncultured swines, the way Eric put it earlier, like we are, and you've never read the material, don't. Just go see the film.
Yeah, because it's a murder mystery.
And I'm obviously not saying like movies are a more justifiable medium or better or whatever.
The film assumes that you don't know what the ending is.
Yeah. It's just if you didn't have any intention on ever reading the book, but you might want to see this movie, don't read the book first. That's all I'm saying.
To be fair,
I was really glad to get to experience it that way because I didn't call it. God, I feel so dumb. I didn't call it. I was kind of.
Why would you call it? That's never the ending of these kinds of stories.
Well, because apparently I'm supposed to know that material.
Yeah, I guess. Apparently everyone knows the ending.
That's all I'm
very
saying.
famous.
Yeah.
But I actually did try to read the book before we did this. Half Price didn't have it. Like I actually went to get it because I want to see what's different. I did some research to see what's different. It mostly seems like the big changes are him at the end. Apparently, at the end of the book, he's just like, and that's the case, and you guys can do with that what you want.
And let's not give anything away. But
yeah. But no, that's it. Like he just solves the case, and is like, all right, and you can deal with that. And then just kind of he has like an experience,
sort of a moral call, at least for himself. I don't know if the movie attempts to give him any more depth, or if his emotional depth is in the book. But this is a really good classic kind of character piece. Ultimately, and I was surprised by that.
Me too.
That this seemed like sort of a character study, where I mean, he has a real character arc and a real sad, almost kind of tragic kind of change at the end. I don't think the movie is cynical about it, but I really
it's optimistic if anything.
Yeah, but also it's saying that, I mean, there are sometimes shades of gray, right?
Yeah,
his arc is all about being like completely so to a fault, right? Like he's completely idealistic. He almost knows that he's going too far and isn't realistic enough about it, but it helps him do his job. And I love the way he sees the world, right?
Me too.
This is a guy who sees all the imperfections because he says he sees the world the way it should be, and that automatically makes him kind of like this moral arbiter, where see the way it should be to whom. To you, it's personal. It's like when he sees things that are out of place. Sometimes I find them arbitrary. He's like, "No, this is supposed to be like this." Well, for you, that's a subjective.
Who cares that you got two eggs and one of them's slightly bigger than the other?
Right? Yeah. Like I get like not everybody is obsessed with symmetry. You know what I mean? Like that's perfection. I guess in a mathematical sort of way, but like you seem anal retentive before you're anything. But I really like that idea, and it's like everything has to be even. That thing where like at the beginning, like he steps in something and then he has to step in it again with the other side so that it's even. I really enjoyed the way he looks at the world, and
me too. I was immediately taken in by him.
I thought it was I was so with him that it was a difficult character arc for me to watch, kind of. Where at the end, like I wanted him to be right.
Me too. Me too. I had the exact same thing.
About how there is good and there is bad and there is nothing in between. And ultimately, he's just not right about that, according to the film. And I also agreed with where we were at the end with that.
Yeah, no, I
wonderful character.
My biggest thing with this,
and do you have any complaints? Do you have any negatives about it?
There's a weird like action scene that I think doesn't need to be there in the middle.
I know what you're talking about. Well, it's not if we're talking about the same one, it's a little bit more toward the end, isn't it?
I'm talking about the one where like they run out in the train tracks and like he tackles a guy down a thing and like.
I think that's a little bit later, but yeah.
That felt like it was just there because like it's like, okay, make sure the audience is still awake because we don't make movies like this anymore.
I think. Yeah, I could see that, Reed. I might need to see it again. I don't want to immediately take up for it, but I didn't have that in the theater because I thought it was supposed to be, once I knew where things were going, I thought it was supposed to be a false ending. If we're talking about the same scene.
Is it the scene where the guy shoots a gun?
Yes.
It's not that scene.
Oh, okay.
That is a false ending. No.
You're talking about something I don't know what you're talking about.
There's a chase scene where he goes outside and there's like somebody running away and he like chases him on like the train tracks and like there's some falling. I was like, that's unnecessary.
I can actually immediately remember that scene now. And we haven't seen this in a couple weeks.
So. I don't know if you had this. Did you have any preconception about Agatha Christie, like as a novelist?
No, just I expected, kind of wooden dialogue and
okay, because I have a similar thing, and this is why I wanted to read the book because I like whodunits. I have a friend that loves whodunits, which is why I know as much as I do about whodunits.
It's not my thing, but I've enjoyed them before.
Yeah,
I'm indifferent before I'm anything.
Yeah, I like them, but it's not something I'm always watching. But I've never read Agatha Christie.
They very rarely have a lot of character depth. It's usually pretty plot driven.
Yeah,
and I was really surprised.
Or it's all backstory driven.
This is that, but everybody comes alive. To some degree?
And that was my thing, was I was expecting, and maybe not even expecting, but my preconception about Agatha Christie is that everyone's kind of these characters sitting around, it's like, oh, well, I used to do this, and I did this, and it's like, okay, these are all clues and pieces for who actually did it, and who might have done it, and red herrings, things like that. My biggest takeaway, and why I wanted to read the book to see if it was in the book too, because maybe, having never read Agatha Christie, I completely misjudged her. She is the highest selling author of all time. was the humanity of everyone.
Yeah.
Everyone in this entire piece, the humanity of them.
I don't know if this makes sense. Somehow or rather, I felt like I was watching and I mean this feels like a really classic movie where it's out of time. It could be made almost any time.
They don't make movies like this.
With the exception, my only real complaint is some dodgy CGI.
Yeah.
With some of the train stuff in the mountains, but I felt like I was watching a like modern. This is what I would put on my board if we were still doing board. Where I was watching like a traditional narrative and melodrama all at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
And it works. It all goes together.
It to me felt, and there's no way that this is actually what it is, given how far apart it is. This almost felt like a response to the Sherlock Holmes movies with Robert Downey Jr., where it's like, no, this is how you make a modern update of that kind of material.
And
you don't have to make it all explosion-y and like fight scenes. Like, this is so engaging.
I found it really engaging. I found it really captivating. I didn't feel like, and obviously I like talky movies, but I got the sense, and I mean, if you didn't like this, then I'm not saying everyone must like the thing I like, but it felt universal to me.
Yeah,
it felt that way.
It just felt so classical. It felt like this is what it used to be like to go to a movie. Like, it just felt like such an experience. I loved it. I thought it was wonderful, and it's a beautiful film. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, it's gorgeous.
Absolutely.
Definitely one of the best movies we've seen this year, and I mean, like,
it's Michael Green.
Things. He's written all the great movies this year. He wrote
except
Logan,
for Wonder Woman,
and he wrote Blade 2049, and I would write.
Yeah, he wrote.
How did he write this and Blade 20? Like, the things I find incomparable as being some of the greatest movies I saw this year were all written by the same guy. So he is versatile and very impressive.
Yep.
So it's his year. Good job, dude.
Now, to be fair, the other two films had co-writers, and this was solely him.
Sure, but it's still amazing his name's on it.
Yeah, his name's on all three of those movies.
Like, I don't know how to compare this to something like 2049, and I don't know how to compare 2049 to
But
Logan
those would be
exactly.
my three, not necessarily my three favorite films of the year, but I think those are the three best movies I saw this year. So, thus far.
Yeah, like, critically.
Yeah.
These seem like the best movies we've watched. I would agree with that. There's one or two other things that get kind of close. This has been a pretty good year.
It's been a pretty good year. I agree.
Couple of things that were disappointing that I expected more from, and a couple of things that I didn't expect to like that I would. Yeah, obviously, the big one's Wonder Woman, where I just didn't even think I would like that movie. And then Justice League. I'm glad I didn't feel like my time was entirely wasted.
Yeah,
that's my review. Kind of dumb. I liked it. Okay. We're going to go ahead and move on now, and thanks a lot for watching, folks. If you're just watching How We Felt About, leave your comments if you saw these movies, either of them or both of them, and let us know what you thought about them.
Don't spoil the ending of either of them.
Yeah. Please don't put any spoilers in the comments.
Don't tell them the Justice League forums.
We appreciate that.